When we look back at the golden age of Hollywood, few names stand taller than James Stewart and Marilyn Monroe, two stars from vastly different worlds. He, the humble hero of small-town America, and she, the luminous symbol of beauty and desire. Yet both left lasting marks on cinema, becoming cultural icons in their own right. Their paths rarely crossed on screen, but together they represent the broad emotional range and evolving values of American film, from simplicity and sincerity to glamour and complexity. Let's begin with James Stewart, or as the world affectionately knew him, Jimmy. James Maitland Stewart was born in 1908 in Indiana, Pennsylvania. The son of a hardware store owner, Jimmy grew up in a tight-knit, all-American household. He attended Princeton University, where he studied architecture before drifting into acting, first on stage, then in film. His early persona was instantly relatable. Tall and lanky, with a stammering drawl and kind eyes, he didn't look or sound like a Hollywood matinee idol. But that was his strength. He was real, he was believable, and audiences loved him for it. Stewart's breakthrough came in the late 1930s, and by the time he starred in Mr. Smith Goes to Washington in 1939, directed by Frank Capra, he had become a symbol of integrity and decency. As Jefferson Smith, a naive yet principled young senator fighting corruption, Stewart captured the spirit of the American dream. The performance earned him his first Academy Award nomination. A year later, in 1940, Stewart won the Oscar for Best Actor for The Philadelphia Story, opposite Katharine Hepburn and Cary Grant. It was a lighter role, showcasing his charm and comedic timing, and confirmed his versatility. But just as his career was peaking, the world changed. When World War II broke out, Stewart didn't just play heroes. He became one. He was the first major American movie star to enlist. Serving as a bomber pilot in the U.S. Army Air Forces, he flew over 20 combat missions and rose to the rank of brigadier general. Unlike some stars who took photo ops in uniform, Stewart saw real action and was deeply affected by the war. When he returned to Hollywood, he brought that experience with him. His post-war roles were darker, more complex. Films like It's a Wonderful Life and Winchester 73 reflected a deeper emotional range. It's a Wonderful Life, initially a box office disappointment, became one of the most beloved films of all time. Stewart's portrayal of George Bailey, a man pushed to the brink, resonated with post-war audiences and continues to move viewers today. He embodied both strength and vulnerability, a man struggling with life's burdens while still believing in goodness. Throughout the 1950s and 60s, Stewart worked with directors like Alfred Hitchcock and Anthony Mann, showing his range in thrillers like Rear Window, Vertigo, and The Man Who Knew Too Much. He was never flashy, never over the top. His acting style was rooted in authenticity, subtle, thoughtful, deeply human. James Stewart remained active in film and television well into the 1980s. He passed away in 1997, but his legacy endures. He is remembered not just as one of America's greatest actors, but as its moral compass, proof that decency can be powerful. Now, contrast that with Marilyn Monroe, the silver screen's most dazzling and tragic star. Born Norma Jean Mortensen in 1926 in Los Angeles, Marilyn's early life was marked by instability. She spent much of her childhood in foster homes and orphanages. Her father was absent, her mother struggled with mental illness, and she longed for love and security. She married young, worked in a munitions factory during World War II, and was discovered by a photographer, leading to a career in modeling. Her striking beauty, photogenic charm, and magnetic presence soon brought her to the attention of Hollywood producers. By the early 1950s, she was on the rise. With roles in Niagara, Gentlemen Prefer Blondes, and How to Marry a Millionaire, Monroe became a box office sensation. Her breathy voice, platinum hair, and flirtatious manner turned her into a global sex symbol. But beneath the glamour was a complex, sensitive woman yearning to be taken seriously. Marilyn wasn't just a pretty face. She was ambitious, intelligent, and fiercely determined to improve as an actress. Frustrated by being typecast as the dumb blonde, she studied at the Actors Studio in New York, working under Lee Strasberg and immersing herself in method acting. Her performances began to show deeper layers. In Bus Stop and the Misfits, She revealed vulnerability, emotional depth, and the tragic beauty that defined her best work. Critics began to take her seriously, acknowledging the raw talent behind the public persona. Yet fame came with a heavy price. Marilyn struggled with anxiety, depression, and a deep sense of isolation. The pressure of stardom, the invasiveness of the press, and the constant demands of studios took a toll on her health. She battled substance abuse and had a string of high-profile relationships, including marriages to baseball legend Joe DiMaggio and playwright Arthur Miller. Her personal life was tabloid fodder, and her emotional fragility made her an easy target. Despite her success, she felt exploited by the very system that made her famous. In 1962, Marilyn Monroe died of an apparent overdose at the age of 36. Her death shocked the world and cemented her image as a tragic figure, beautiful, beloved, but broken. In the decades since, Monroe's legacy has evolved. She is remembered not only for her iconic roles and beauty, but also as a symbol of resilience. A woman who fought to be heard in a system that often silenced women. So, what do we make of James Stewart and Marilyn Monroe side by side? In many ways, they represent opposite poles of Hollywood stardom. Stewart was the embodiment of trust, stability, and moral clarity. He played characters who believed in fairness and fought for what was right, often in quiet, dignified ways. Monroe, on the other hand, symbolized glamour, sensuality, and the emotional turmoil beneath the surface of celebrity. He was the dependable everyman. She was the enigmatic goddess. Yet both were authentic in their own way. Stewart's strength came from his honesty, Monroe's from her vulnerability, and both were incredibly courageous. He in service and simplicity, she in her battle for self-expression in a male-dominated industry. Their filmographies don't intersect, but their legacies do. Each challenged the expectations placed on them. Stewart expanded the image of masculinity to include sensitivity and fear. Monroe pushed against the limitations of beauty and fought for creative control.